So, who is creating your earth life besides God in your soul? That is something that I learned this week in a client session. And first, let me say for all of you that have very strong religious beliefs on creation, this is not your channel and I am not your podcaster. So, if you resonate with what I'm saying, you're welcome to stay. And if you have very different beliefs and don't resonate, please move to a channel that you do resonate with, because I am not here to debate. I too believe in God, Source, the Creator. There is only one. Doesn't matter what religion you are, there is only one creational energy in this universe and all universes beyond. So stay if you like this, move on if you don't. Now, let's get back to the fascinating thing that happened in a client session this week about who is creating your earth life besides spirit and your soul. Welcome to your multidimensional journey. I am Tracy Canberra, and this week I had firsthand experience into just how our higher selves dictate our earth life. Finding this out was incredibly fascinating to me because I am well aware that our higher versions of self, the other aspects of our soul self, the other soul sparks, because your soul is having all of these lives at once in all of these dimensions at once. So it is parallel, simultaneous realities in multiple dimensions. That much we already know, and quantum physics shows us this also. But while I understand that our other versions of self that are in higher dimensions can assist us and cheer us on and give us love and support and compassion and whatever else we need, they are our guides. I have always seen that 95% of your guides are you in a higher dimensional life, helping you, just like your soul is you creating your life. You're the vehicle, soul is the driver. So you are just the vehicle in this holographic reality. So we already understand that our higher selves assist us when asked. And they are always available to assist us, as are angels and the archangels and honestly everybody. It doesn't have to be higher versions of our earth self from our soul. It can be from other souls also. I was under the impression that we have free will to a degree, that we're creating everything with the soul. The soul rarely yanks us out of something. Like, if we're going to die too early and this wasn't an exit point and we got ourselves in a little pickle, our soul will jump in and redirect because we weren't meant to leave this incarnation right now. But other than those extreme circumstances, the soul creates soul contracts with others for the major points, almost like the what, but not the how. The how is up to us. So the soul will nudge and guide and ask you to discover what direction you want to go in, how you want to get there. So it's almost like the soul creates a scavenger hunt sometimes, and I'm used to that. But what I saw this week is how our higher selves not only assist us, but they actually dictate soul contracts, actions, moves, where you're going to move to, who you're going to meet. They have a say in our earth experience. And I never knew that. I thought they were just here to help us, and we are choosing the how of the what that our soul has created. So I am having a session with a wonderful client, and their Lyran Collective self comes in. Beautiful golden energy, like an outline of a golden light being, but it was just golden, sparkly energy. And I know Lyrans to be rather aquamarine, crystalline energy, kind of a greenish blue see-through energy. Like their frequency has that color to me. But these were, I asked, the soul said they were 18th to 20th dimensions. So understand, dimensions are unlimited. This 1 through 12 and God's at 13, not in my experience. In my experience, there are infinite dimensions. They are pages in a book. And these beings, this collective of energy, showed me that they sat down with their soul, which is the client's soul. They sat down with the soul and said, we want to experience this, we want to experience that. And I was confused at first. I'm like, wait a minute. You, the soul, dictate. This is your life path. These are your soul contracts. These are the karmic patterns coming through, mostly from other earth lives, because that which is influencing your earth life from higher dimensions is actually a good thing. It's nothing to heal. It's something to up level towards. It's part of ascension. So, past life karma, your karmic patterns from other earth lives that influence you are what I did that earlier podcast on, how to complete them, how to dissolve them. And so I thought it was just your soul that dictates all of this. But instead, this collective is showing me how they dictated what they wanted to experience in this earth life, along with the soul. The soul says, well, I want this client to be a spiritual mentor in this life. They are a spiritual mentor in several other earth lives. But the experience, because remember, it's not karma. I was bad then and I have to atone for it now. No, it is Baskin Robbins 31 flavors. I am chocolate over there. I am vanilla over here. I am strawberry over there. I'm pistachio over here. It's just the soul wishing to experience a life path, like being a spiritual mentor to loved ones and others, to experience that life path and create soul contracts in support of that life path in a number of different ways. So the soul desires, and yes, the soul does have desire. The whole point of spirit creating soul versions of self are to have experiences. So the soul does have desires. I heard recently from a mentor I really value that the soul doesn't have desires, only the human does. Actually, the soul does have desires. Even you can say the creator source energy has desires because it desires to experience. So let's just say there are all kinds of forms and levels of desire. But the soul does desire different experiences, especially different experiences of the same life path, the same incarnational theme. So, this client that is a spiritual mentor, some lives they succeeded with strangers, but not with family. Some lives they succeeded with family. Some lives the energy of humanity didn't support any kind of spiritual awakening. And the whole thing was just what us humans would call a failure. Remember, the soul is fascinated by all of it. The soul is like, wow, look what happens when we do this. That I just imagine them all up there, all the souls like playing chess. Well, if I move this piece here, look what happens. Actually, it's probably more like a speed game of checkers because it gets a little wild and unruly pretty quickly down here at times. So, getting back to the Golden Lyran Collective, and most people call it Lyra. I just have an issue with that. To me, it's Lyra and they're Lyrans. So, if you want to call them Golden Lyrans, go for it. So, this Golden Lyran Collective is so close to full soul awareness that they form partnerships like we can't even imagine because of their awareness. So, in this partnership, the Golden Lyran Collective is communicating, connecting with their soul, which is also my client's soul, and saying, okay, in this spiritual mentorship, we want to see this. We want to see in this life, meaning in this current earth life, which is one of ascension. So this is a big one because in this grand experiment, we're succeeding. Where some of the Atlantean timelines failed, not all of them, but some of them. And by failure, I mean earth standards. There is no failure in higher dimensions. There is only experience. Duality does not exist in higher dimensions. So the soul can't fail. Higher selves can't fail. Only we label things as failure. And that is not even true. We simply had an experience that diverged from the desired experience. Just because we went left or right or it went south doesn't mean it was a failure. It just means the experiment went left or right. So the Golden Lyran Collective expressed that in this ascension incarnation, they wish to see my client, their earth self, bring in their energy more and utilize their energy. So here's the fascinating part. It wasn't the client's soul going, okay, when their earth self reaches this point, They're going to connect with 20th Dimensional Lyran Collective, and they're going to help do this. The soul didn't say that. The Lyran Collective did. The Lyran Collective came in and said, hey, when the humanity frequency reaches this level of awareness, we want to connect more deeply with our earth self so that they may bring forth or even trigger the awareness to other humans of the Lyran Collective energy. Because this client is part of that collective. I discovered a couple days later, because I kept hanging out with them because it was really fascinating. Not only does it feel really good, but I was learning more stuff. And I discovered a couple days later, I am part of that collective. And I will say here, it doesn't matter if it's you or someone else. You are still getting the information. It's the what, not the who. Okay? Remember that. So when I first started with spiritual coaching, I swear my first 10 clients all thought they were Jesus. And Jay came through and said, it is not whether they are me in that life. It is whether they remember the information and the experiences of that life. You do not have to be of my soul to fully experience that life as I do. And I thought that was really fascinating. Okay, when you're talking to Jesus, it's a lot of beautiful energy in your heart. So I blow it out, get back into me, and know that that was the most beautiful wisdom that I got early on. So when you think that you were Cleopatra or you were Mark Anthony, it doesn't matter. If you're resonating with Cleopatra, then go for it. That energy is helping you somehow. Therefore, this Golden Lyran Collective, while they showed me a few days ago that I am part of that collective, it doesn't matter because I connect in with that collective. And therefore, I am shifting my multidimensional DNA. I am absorbing these light codes that they're sending, all of this information. I'm still getting all of the goodies, whether it's part of my soul or part of another's. So let's expand beyond the little lanes we believe we have to travel in because it's not true. So getting back to seeing that the Lyran Collective was communicating with the soul and saying, we would like to go down this path. We would like to see this direction. We would like this to happen. And the soul says, okay, I'm up for that. Let's go there. So knowing that our higher selves are not only assisting us, but some or all of them are actually dictating our life and our soul contracts and our patterns, etc., just like our soul is. So it is a democracy, not a dictatorship. Very good to know. A benevolent dictatorship, but I was always shown that the soul was the only one guiding things. Now, before I sign off, I want to ask the Golden Lyran Collective, who have been swirling around within my energy. They backed up a little when Jay came in, but otherwise they've been swirling around in my energy. I want to touch in and see if they have anything to share with all of us. Dear ones listening to this, understand that this entire transmission has also been one of Lyran light codes, of much higher dimensional frequencies that help you open up to the frequencies just around you. What you perceive to be those up a step or two of the ladder, no, they are swirling around you always. And this energy frequency transmission of Lyran light codes assists you in accessing the more expansive frequencies that swirl around you. They help with your ascension. They help with your awakening. So connect with us. Open your multidimensional DNA to reactivation, to recalibration, to realignment with what is now being shown to you and all of humanity in this earth incarnation. For you are indeed ascending. You are indeed coming into the vision and knowledge of so much that has been kept from you for thousands of years of your time. That is all ending. You will see, you will feel, you will meet your other versions of self, other galactic beings. You will connect with higher technologies, not only healing technologies, but also those technological methods that make your life easier, more abundant, more multidimensional. We are always emanating the light codes of wisdom, of technology, of open awareness. So picture in your mind's eye, picture in your heart, beautiful, sparkling, golden, divine energy. Know that it is us. Ask for assistance. Ask to be shown. Ask to be opened. You are ready. So ask. Okay, so if you're on YouTube, please leave in the comments, what revelations have you had lately? And how are you connecting with your higher versions of self? Also, did you feel the Golden Lyran Collective energy at any point when I was speaking, but especially when they were transmitting during the channeling? It is really strong. And anytime you wish, you can connect with them. So let me know how it went for you in the comments, and let's keep ascending together, beautiful souls.